and force the ball down the field. Get guys like Malik Neighbors over the middle. It's going to bode well for you this week. Do not try to go into this game running the ball right at him. It's not going to work. You know how I know? Georgia. You know how I know? Cal. You know how I know? A&M. And I'm not saying Georgia's better than you offensively. They're not. I am not saying that Cal is even close to the same stratosphere as you offensively. They're not. They're damn near dead last. You're in the top 3 in almost every statistical category. But you're going to have to let Jayden continue to be him. You can't do what you did last week against Missouri. See, last week at this time, I was saying and asking every guest, do you slow the game down by running the ball more? That's exactly what LSU did. Their defensive game plan, in their game plan meeting, Kelly, the offense and defensive staff, Kelly went up to all of them and said, hey, listen, we're going to take the air out of the ball this week a little bit. We're going to try to keep Jayden between 20 to 25 passing attempts, and we're going to let him run the football to try to bleed out more of this clock so we give our defense the chance. Don't do that this week. Quick game, over the middle, screens, pop passes, all the stuff that you've been doing to dominate teams like Missouri and Ole Miss and all these other teams that you did offensively. Because once you start doing that aggressive defense up front is going to start getting a little winded. They're going to start breaking tackles because they're having to make a lot of tackles out in space. And then there's going to be a guy who leads the country in touchdowns, I might add, from a receiving touchdown standpoint. And Brian Thomas, he's going to go down there on that post route looking like Plexico Burress, like he did last week. And he's going to get in the end zone. And you're going to say, oh, look at Jayden taking another shot deep. Loosen them up by hitting shots early. That's what you're going to have to do. Another thing, I know that Auburn's offensive line has not looked good. They kind of haven't. But you know what? They're going to be balls to the wall 24/7. Like a new kid that just got a PlayStation and the first game that he opened was Grand Theft Auto. He's going to get in that Ferrari and he's going to drive like a bat out of hell, not knowing what to do. They do not play a lot of times assignment correct. But what they will do is they will go to the whistle all night long. Let me see that thong, Cisco style. If you do not have your lunch pail ready on the offense and defensive line, you're not going to lose. I'm not saying you're going to lose. But Georgia found themselves in a situation where Brock Bowers had to say, hey, man, maybe you should put my name in the Heisman discussion, even though I don't believe that his name should be in there. He's a tight end. I mean, Brian Thomas should have more recognition, in my opinion. Malik Neighbors more than him. I digress. But don't walk into this game. Don't just maneuver your little way through this game and say to yourself, hey, man, we're going to blow them out. Now, do you have that ability? Absolutely. Because they can't score. They can't score. But what you cannot do is allow a team like Auburn to gain confidence and let them hang around. And you know what else? They're coming off a bye week. Now, tomorrow, we'll give you the stat. I'm going to leave you with what they call a cliffhanger. Hugh Freeze coming off of bye weeks. Man, ask Alabama how that feels. Be careful. They don't have the talent that you do. I don't believe that they have the coaching staff that you do. Look, their DC and Ron Roberts was the head coach at Southeastern here in Hammond. I like Ron. I don't have an issue with him, even though I think that he's extremely rough around the edges. I don't dislike Ron whatsoever. Defensively, he's got that unit playing. But the defense that he always runs has holes in it. This is what you're going to see. If he runs the base stuff, guys, it's Dave Aranda. It's Dave Aranda. Ron Roberts was the mentor of, guess who? Just take a wild guess. That's right, you got it. Dave Aranda. Now, when Ron was at Southeastern, he used to do coaching clinics around here. He would teach guys about defense, what he thinks about defense. You know what the number one thing he always said? Be aggressive. Be aggressive. What's the status of Charles Turner? Are there some things that a veteran DC like Ron Roberts will do to be able to capitalize on potentially a true freshman at center, I might add, who I think is, guys, on that long 35-yard run from Jayden Daniels in the score, that play was specifically made, in my opinion, by DJ Chester. Now, Blake, Jayden Daniels. I'm not saying Jayden Daniels. You know what I'm talking. The guy that sealed the block to get that space was made by DJ Chester. The bottom line that I say to you tonight, now we'll do our keys to victory on Thursday. Every single game that I watched, they are going to play balls to the wall. They are going to be physical. Their safety play at Auburn is really good. They gave Georgia, which, by the way, everybody keeps telling me that Carson Beck is no good. What are you watching? Like, please tell me what in the Sam Hell games you're watching. Because Carson Beck, if I'm not mistaken, as of 2:37 Central Standard Time, was a top 3 quarterback in the SEC right now, statistically. And all they did all night long was come after him over and over and over again. Here's the benefit. They can't do that to Jayden. Because if you don't get home and you leave just a little bit of a crease, this is going to happen. Over and over and over again, Jayden Daniels is going to light your ass up. Okay, you Tigers, Tigers. Okay. You get what I'm saying. I had that thought after watching the film on Auburn. The statistics backed it up. Now, I know what you're going to say. Blake, they can't throw the ball. They can't. They are anemic throwing the football. But you know what's interesting? Auburn's passing offense is ranked 119th in the country. You know what LSU's defensive passing yards allowed ranks? 119. It's identical. You want to hear something even more funny? Your offense, your scoring offense is 5th. Auburn's scoring defense is 25th. Your rushing offense, which, listen, has been electric boogie, woogie, woogie. You know you see it. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. They're in the top 50 in rushing defense when you're in the top 15 in rushing offense. Here's the difference. Your passing offense and their secondary, their corners, it's Cisco type all night long. Gonna have to let Jayden win you this one. And I think he could potentially have a big game. I really do. Another big game, another co-offensive player of the week in the SEC. Here's some other statistics that I thought that really stood out. Auburn's third down offense is ranked, so conversion rate, third down offense, 105. LSU's third down defense, 109. So in all of these statistics, something's going to have to give. Their bad goes on your bad. Your good goes on what they would determine they're good, meaning their front seven, their safeties, that's the best part of their team. Without their running backs, Another example, third down defense, 38th, Auburn. LSU is third in the country, 56%. They're probably worried about that one. But here's what gets me, y'all ready? Total defense, 25th, LSU 3. We talked about that. Here's what gets me. Total offense for Auburn is ranked 88th. LSU total defense is 121. So again, their absolute worst and your absolute worst faces head-on square, mano a mano. Like Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed and Rocky 3. You told me everything you know, Apollo. Not everything. Ho, ho, ho. You looking good, Stallion. You looking good. Do not take them lightly. I cannot envision you losing. I don't think that you're losing. I just can't picture it. One thing I know is that this game is always close. It was close a year ago. Jayden had 80 passing yards. It's not going to happen again. But they're coming off a bye week with a head coach that's known to do some chaotic stuff offensively. And if they start scoring some touchdowns early, you're going to feel some type of way. You will. I will too. Your defense against Missouri in the last 3 quarters gave up 17 points. So have you found something? Because let me just preface this. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. And I'm going to get tattooed behind this. Absolutely tattooed. If you can and have found something defensively in 3 weeks, it's hashtag for the West. You got a long, long way to go, though. You're going to have to show in the next 2 weeks, which against inferior opponents, at least in inferior offenses, I should say, not opponents. If you can't stop Army, if you have issues stopping Army, if you have issues stopping Auburn, I don't know, man. That's why they play the game. It's why they play the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You play to win the game. Spectrum Wellcare says BK will have this team focused. I have no doubt. I have no doubt about that. But don't underestimate them. I just got done talking about Rocky and making a little joke. They are Rocky Balboa and Rocky 1. They can't win, right? Like they can't win. They're on the bed with Adrian saying, I can't win, Adrian, but I could go the distance. And I'm telling you, they got some dudes out the – Donovan Kaufman's a kid from Louisiana safety. If you don't have your head on a swivel, he is going to knock your block off.